still doing these things after 75. Here's why they might be shortening your life asterisk 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 asterisk. Have you ever noticed how people talk about life after 65 like it's time to slow down, to finally rest? And sure, we all deserve a little rest after decades of working, raising families, and carrying the weight of life's ups and downs. But here's the truth that no one really says out loud. The years between 65 and 75, they're not just for resting. They are the years that decide whether you'll thrive after 75 or simply survive. It's not the number on your birth certificate that determines your future. It's the small, everyday actions you do, or stop doing, that shape how long and how well you'll live. In today's video, we're going to explore the habits many people unknowingly fall into after retirement. Habits that may seem harmless but silently chip away at your health, your independence, and your joy. But don't worry, this isn't about judgment. It's about awareness and choice. And when you know better, you can do better. So let's begin with something that surprises many of my patients after retirement. You'd think people would relax, but for many, especially those raised on the value of hard work, they keep pushing themselves long after their bodies start asking for a break. Take Mr. Don Walker, 77, from Montana. He spent his whole life on a ranch, waking up before dawn, mending fences, lifting hay bales. Even after he turned 70, he kept working the same way, because in his words, "If I stop, I'm useless." But here's what happened. Don didn't give himself time to recover. He ignored the aches in his back, the swelling in his knees, the fatigue in his chest, and one afternoon, just after stacking lumber in the summer heat, he collapsed. Doctors said it was a minor heart attack, a warning sign. Not because he had a bad heart, but because he never gave it a rest. As we age, our body's ability to heal and recover slows down. Muscles rebuild more slowly. Inflammation lingers longer, and pushing too hard can lead to chronic joint pain, immune suppression, or even sudden cardiac events. Now, don't get me wrong. Staying active is important. It's vital. But there's a difference between activity and overwork. So here's what I often tell my patients. Listen to your body. Fatigue is not laziness. It's communication. Rest with purpose. Take short naps. Stretch between tasks. Break chores into smaller chunks. Redefine value. You're not more worthy because you're busy. You're worthy because you exist. Don't chase productivity. Chase vitality. If your joints hurt, if your sleep is shallow, if you feel like every day is a grind, maybe it's time to shift your rhythm. Because being alive after 70 isn't about proving something. It's about protecting what matters. Your strength, your peace, your years. And as Mr. Don told me after recovering, I finally realized slowing down doesn't mean giving up. It means living smarter. Let's talk about something nobody really wants to talk about. Money. Not the kind you flaunt. Not about getting rich. I'm talking about the basic financial security every older adult needs, not to impress anyone, but simply to stay independent. After 75, unexpected things happen. Your roof leaks, a hospital bill arrives, you need a mobility device, or maybe you just want to buy healthy food without checking every price tag. But here's what I've seen far too often. People work hard their whole lives, raise kids, pay bills, and by the time they're finally done, there's nothing left. And that's when dependence begins. Let me tell you about Mrs. Jean Matthews, 79, from Wisconsin. She was always frugal. She never complained. She helped her children pay for college, never traveled much, and gave what little she had to her church. But when she broke her hip and needed in-home care for a few weeks, she didn't have savings for it. Her children helped. Yes, but she told me privately, "I feel like a burden. I hate asking for help. I wish I had planned better." This isn't about guilt. It's about planning with love. Because here's the truth. After 75, your independence depends on your savings. Even small expenses, rides to the doctor, better nutrition, handrails in your bathroom, all require a little cushion. And relying too much on others, especially grown children, can damage relationships, dignity, and even mental health. So what can you do? Even now. Start small, even $10 to $20 a month into a separate just-in-case fund helps. Downsize smart. Let go of things you don't use. Free up space and save on maintenance. Talk to a financial advisor, even for one session. They can help you. Maximize your Medicare or other benefits. Value your freedom. Remember, money isn't about greed. It's about choice. As I often say, when you save for yourself, you're not being selfish. You're being kind to your future self and fair to the people who love you. Because growing older with peace of mind, that's something no amount of money can buy. But a little planning today can absolutely protect. Here's something you might not hear from your doctor, but it's something I've witnessed again and again. It's not illness that weakens older people most. It's the stress of unresolved conflict, especially at home. After 70, you think most couples have seen it all, weathered every storm. But the truth is, when life slows down and daily routines shrink, even small disagreements can feel bigger. And over time, frequent arguments with the spouse, even short, quiet ones, can drain your spirit, raise your blood pressure, and increase the risk of heart disease, depression, and sleep issues. Let me share the story of Frank and Marlene Evans, a couple from Arizona, both in their late 70s. They'd been married 52 years, but after retirement, their routines clashed. Frank liked quiet mornings, Marlene wanted to talk. Frank saved every penny, Marlene wanted to enjoy their years. They began snapping at each other. Little things turned into silence. And then, into tension that filled every room. When Frank came in for his checkup, his blood pressure was high. He wasn't sleeping well. Marlene had lost her appetite. Both felt lonely, even while sitting next to each other every day. So we talked, not just about their health, but about how they were speaking to each other. With some gentle support, they made one simple change. Every night, before bed, they told each other one thing they appreciated about the other, even on hard days. And slowly, something shifted. Because, here's the thing, your home is your final sanctuary. If there's tension inside it, your heart will carry that stress, no matter how many pills you take. So if you're married, ask yourself, are we speaking kindly? Or just speaking? Are we listening to respond? Or to understand? Are we holding onto old habits that no longer serve us? You're not the same couple you were at 40, and that's okay. At this age, love should feel like peace, not performance. So take a breath, offer grace, let the small things go. And remember, sometimes, the best medicine is simply being gentle with the one who's grown old beside you. Let me ask you something simple. When was the last time you ate a meal that truly nourished you, not just filled you? I'm not talking about fancy food or five-star dinners. I'm talking about real, whole, nutrient-rich meals that support your bones, brain, and heart. Here's the truth many older adults quietly carry. They start cutting back on food quality, not out of choice, but out of habit or fear of spending too much. They reach for instant noodles instead of salmon. They drink coffee and crackers instead of a real breakfast. They skip dinner, saying I'm not hungry, when really, it's about saving money. But what's the cost? Low quality, overly processed, salty, or oily foods can raise blood pressure, increase inflammation, slow digestion, and lead to dangerous nutrient deficiencies, especially after 70, when the body absorbs nutrients less efficiently. Let me share a story. Ms. Linda Cooper, 76, from Ohio, came to see me complaining of fatigue and bloating. Her lab showed borderline anemia and high cholesterol, but her diet, mostly toast, processed cheese, canned soup, quick, cheap, familiar. She told me, I just don't see the point in cooking for one. So we made a simple plan. Oatmeal with berries and walnuts for breakfast, grilled chicken with roasted veggies twice a week, a smoothie with spinach, banana, and almond milk every other day. Within 3 weeks, her energy came back. Her stomach calmed down. Her smile returned. She didn't need supplements, she needed real food. So if you've been skipping meals, or choosing what's cheapest over what's healthiest, ask yourself, am I saving money, or sacrificing my vitality? Because food isn't a luxury. It's your daily prescription, without the side effects. And if eating alone feels lonely, try this. Invite a neighbor once a week, cook with your grandkids on May. Join a senior cooking group at your community center member. You don't need to eat less as you age. You need to eat smarter. Because every bite can be either a burden or a blessing. Let me ask you something personal. When was your last full health checkup? Blood pressure, cholesterol, liver, kidneys, maybe even memory screening. If you pause just now to think, you're not alone. A surprising number of seniors go months, sometimes years, without seeing a doctor, unless something feels really wrong. But here's the thing. By the time something feels wrong, it might already be late. Take the case of Mr. Harold Jennings, 78, from South Carolina. He came into my clinic only because of some leg swelling, which he thought was just old age. He hadn't seen a doctor in nearly 3 years. After a few tests, we discovered he had silent hypertension, early-stage kidney issues, and a vitamin B12 deficiency, all treatable. But almost for too long. He looked at me, shook his head, and said, if I'd come in last year, I might have avoided all this. And he was right. See, aging comes with changes, some natural, some dangerous. But many of the most serious illnesses in older adults, like diabetes, heart disease, anemia, memory decline, don't shout, they whisper. And routine checkups are how we catch those whispers before they become screams. So what does routine mean? Once a year, full physical plus lab severity 6 months, blood pressure plus glucose, especially if you're 65 plus. Every 2 to 3 years, vision, hearing, bone density as needed, memory screening, depression check, skin exams, and don't forget dental and eye health matter too. They're connected to heart health and cognitive function. You deserve to live your later years with clarity, strength, and confidence. And regular checkups aren't about fearing what's wrong. They're about protecting what's right. So next time you think, I feel fine, I don't need to go, remember Mr. Jennings. And remember this, preventive care isn't a cost. It's an investment in your future freedom. Let me tell you a quiet truth, one I've learned not from textbooks, but from decades of walking beside older adults. Getting old isn't the hardest part. It's feeling like you're no longer needed, like the world is moving on without you. But here's what I want you to hear, loud and clear. You still matter. You still have purpose. And every small choice you make from this day forward can rewrite how your story continues. So maybe you've skipped your last checkup. Maybe you've been eating just enough to get by. Maybe you've lost someone, argued too much, or held onto pennies out of fear. That's okay. That was yesterday. But today, you can call your doctor and schedule that long overdue visit, buy the fresh fruit, and enjoy every bitey apologize, or forgive, and soften that tension at home. Open the curtains and feel the morning sun. Let someone know, hey, I'm still here. I still care. Because life after 75 isn't about waiting for the end. It's about choosing life, one walk, one meal, one kind word at a time. So here's my invitation to you. Don't let those precious years pass in silence and fear, or in regret. Take care of your body. It's carried you this far. Take care of your mind. It's where your joy begins. Take care of your spirit. It still has room to grow. And now, I want to hear from you. What's one habit, big or small, that keeps your heart young? Share it in the comments. Your wisdom might be just what someone else needs today. If this message touched you, give it a like, share it with someone you care about, and subscribe for more life-giving insights on healthy aging, joy, and strength after 70. Remember, you're not at the end of your journey. You're just entering your most meaningful chapter yet. Until next time, stay strong, stay curious, and keep becoming.